and they're apathetic
Oh
together.
no!
There we go.
That's homicide.
There we go. Hey, everybody. It's time for a show here on the Jack Henke Show for Friday night.
We are not AJ. We are not taking the night off.
We're here. We're here, much to your chagrin.
Chagrin.
Yes.
Oh, you need another old guy so you can do the Muppets thing.
What do you mean I need? What do you mean I need one? I think I have one.
What are those guys' names?
Oh boy, I used to Waldorf and something or other. Waldorf and something. I don't remember.
Salad.
Waldorf salad. Absolutely. There we go. Anyway, I guess I'll play the theme. Why not? It's Friday. Here we go.
Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack.
Hey,
what are you doing?
Hey.
Are you the Blair Bulldog Project? What's going on?
Better. Tell my mother I love her. There we go. It's time
Are you in your closet?
Kitchen? I mean, I don't keep a refrigerator in my closet, Jack.
Oh, well, I couldn't see that.
Oh, okay. Perspective is everything, and you have none.
Why aren't you in the sunroom with no sun?
It's getting dark out there these days.
Okay. And you freaked Dr. Ben out last week with that.
Well, there's that too. Absolutely.
He was plenty freaky today anyway. So this is a huge day. Huge.
It is. We don't have to do squat tonight.
No. I mean, it's a huge day in history. First of all, Mr. Bob's needs your help. Need volunteers. Tomorrow's the day.
Yeah.
Monday's drop-off day. If you can't make it tomorrow, look up Mr. Bob's underthebridge.org. Right? And we are having a guest on. The volunteer coordinator from Mr. Bob's going to be joining us on Thursday, the 21st, to promote Mr. Bob's first ever walk-run dealio that they're doing in Rocktober, as we say in the rock and roll world.
September, Rocktober. What the hell?
Let's September, Rocktober. Yeah. So they need your help. So help them out.
Yeah.
A lot of different ways you can do it. They make it so easy. They have a wish list on Amazon. You can help. You can spend some time in Grafton, a night or two a week. You can go down to Kosciuszko Park on Saturday morning. So all different kinds of ways you can help. So
all kinds.
Yep. And it is also SIPtember. Some genius came up with that. And Lisa, to her credit, has taken it and run with it. She is going crazy for SIPtember. And
how much she pay you for that?
A pound of whole bean Italian roast, which that I can put through my AeroPress, and it is wonderful. Although I ran out of whipped cream today. Blackie was so depressed. I made the coffee. He knows when I'm making coffee, I boil the water, I put it through the press, I'm punching it down. Right when I'm done punching it down, he knows exactly when to come into the kitchen because that's when the whipped cream comes out. And he is a whipped cream monster. He loves whipped cream. He came in the kitchen. He came in the kitchen today, and I went, "I'm out." He's like, "What? No way."
I'm glad he didn't go Cujo on your ass.
Oh my God, he was not happy, but that's the way it goes. So, head over to the Job House. Great, I would say. Would you say they're unbeatable beans, Bulldog?
I've never had the beans alone. I've usually have them ground in with water, but they're pretty damn good.
Damn straight. And all kinds of interesting drinks. They have the what's the one that at least said the NA sip drink that our friend Marissa, who's with the Junior League of Women's Voters, came up with. It's her recipe.
Oh, I did not know.
A caramel apple.
That's this thing here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Hang on one second. Yeah, it's. I think Lisa and Patty have a competition for the longest texts in history.
I,
Okay, here. It's an NA apple caramel spritzer. It's apple cider and seltzer with caramel syrup. You say caramel syrup, and caramel drizzle. It's not as sweet as it sounds. It's amazing.
Okay.
So there. Sounds
Might
pretty
be
good.
okay. I don't know. Ice with that and the caramel and ice, and I'm not sure.
We talked to Dr. Ben about the seasons changing and the taste changing. Today I got my first hankering for what's that hot drink that we had, Bulldog? That Lisa had?
The orange, the moon milk, right?
Moon milk. It was so good.
Golden moon milk or something.
Yes.
Yeah, golden.
Yeah.
Had some
had some bite to it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yep.
I could use one of those myself right about now.
Yep. No kidding. Are you having a beverage tonight? What are you doing?
I got nothing tonight. I should go to the grocery store. We're kind of tapped here. It's been a long week, and I think I have I have a drizzle of skim milk, and that's about it.
It is a weird thing about these short weeks. They become long weeks in a hurry. First of all, your body clock's off, and then everybody's trying to jam 4 days into
nobody
5 days into 4.
Surly this week at the library,
Surly is a good brewery. Yes. In Minnesota.
Yes. I would really like, I definitely could use something of a brew tonight.
You know what? A client planted in my head the seed this afternoon of having a fish fry. So, Mark, I haven't had a fish fry. I've had grilled fish. I've had all kinds of fish, but I haven't had a fish fry. I can't tell you the last time I had it. Tonight at 5:01,
yes,
Margot and I were on the deck of Whistler's. And we had for an hors d'oeuvre, we had deep fried dill pickles. Slices, which are wonderful.
Pretty darn good.
You get deep fried zucchini, or you can't really tell the vegetable inside, but the pickles, you can tell when you're biting into a pickle.
Oh, when you add the dill, it's all about the dill.
It is all about the dill. And then I had Margot stay with the grilled fish. Good for her. I had a fish fry. It is fantastic, and it was fantastic. It was orgasmic. It's like it was like a text from. There's like a text from Patty.
Now that's orgasmic.
Yes, long and hard.
Oh,
text from Patty.
Mr. Wonderful.
But the fish fry was wonderful. It's just fantastic. And I had French fries. So I had fries.
You had on a Dr. Ben day. He inspired you to throw caution to the wind, and then break.
He said 10% of the time, plan to screw up.
I have a feeling you were.
I used my whole 10. I might have used 10.5% tonight. For God's sake,
cash those chips in tonight.
Oh my God, the pickle chips! I cashed them in.
There you go.
Fantastic. Mel's has got so much stuff on. It makes your head spin. They have the bags for Busick next week. They have in 2 weeks. They have the. I can't believe it's time for the pig roast.
The roast.
And, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Anyway,
Tyson, thank you.
The agent,
I think after that orgasmic text, she's smoking a cigarette and saying thank you.
Well, is it 2 exclamation points?
Just two. I know.
Do you say exclamation point or exclamation mark?
I believe point is where I've been for quite some time. Yes.
All right. Do you like fish fries, Bulldog?
Oh God! Don't even get. I mean, Jesus.
I'm serious.
I would do it weekly if I knew I wouldn't get sick as a dog.
I know. I had like you said, I had the kickback about a half an hour late. It doesn't matter. The food was wonderful, but you're just not used to that. It's kind of a to your system. Yeah.
I suspect you might want to. Shame the library's closed. You might need a big book soon.
I got a big book.
all right. Yeah.
So check out melscharities.org for all the stuff going on. Today is a huge day in history, Bulldog.
Oh, good.
Did you know that?
You didn't like Friday to me, but go right ahead.
I'm going to say yours last because the thing that you will geek out on.
I'm ready.
You can't be cheating and looking at anything.
I got my geeking socks on.
All right. This day in 1989. I'm going backwards. I'm going chronologically in reverse.
I would have started my senior year in high school.
In 89?
Yes, sir.
That's when you graduate. You done graduate? No, you graduated in 90?
No,
then?
Oh, wait a minute. I guess not. Well,
yeah.
No. Well, I graduated in '89, so yes, I guess I would have been starting my
in '88.
my first year at Milwaukee Area Technical College in the funeral service / mortuary wing. Graduating class of 3. I may have already been.
Don't do this to me.
I may have already been using the trocar. You know what the trocar is, Chad?
I'm so glad I don't, and I don't want to know.
Let's just say I could vacuum all that fish out of you right now with the trocar.
What a great start of Moonstruck that was when the guy goes, "I make them look better than they looked in life." If you're such an artist, why you got butter all over your tie? Ooh. In 1989, the movie Kickboxer premiered.
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
You would know.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
So that was 89. This day in 1986, where were you in 1986? Middle school, you freak?
In 86, we would have been just moved to the greater Mequon-Thiensville area.
Really?
Yes, sir.
You got run out of Trivers.
They stopped needing furniture. They all went to Crazy TV Lenny in Appleton. That was the Professor in Furniture.
That's no good. This day in 1986, the first episode of Oprah going national was today.
Okay. 86. That's okay. That tracks. Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Okay.
Got big.
In 1973, we're switching over to music.
Okay. 73. Very good.
The number one song on this date in 1973. Do you even have a wild stab in the dark? I never would have gotten it. You will go
something by Three Dog Night, maybe.
You will say it is a great effing song.
Okay.
By an outstanding murdered artist.
Okay, hold tight. Man, who got axed after who? Yeah, boy, I don't know. Murdered. I mean, murdered. Go for it.
Murdered. I'm even going to give you another big hint, which I shouldn't do.
All right.
Murdered by a family member.
Oh, geez, I feel like I should know this.
The murder wasn't in 73. The song that this person, and not a group, this person did was number one in 1973.
Hendrix was gone by then. Janis Joplin was gone. I don't know.
And they weren't murdered.
No, well, they murdered themselves.
Right. But this is by a family member, which is kind of a fantasy for anybody who's ever been in a family to murder your family member, some family member.
Well, sure. Yeah. That's not over.
You give up?
Yeah, I do. White flag.
Let's get it home.
Oh yeah. Marvin was. That's right. His dad often, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye Sr.
That wasn't until the '80s, although, wasn't it? I mean, I think he made it all the way.
Yeah.
Sexual Healing was one of his last
hits. Yeah, and that was huge. That was in like 82 or 83.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
There
you go.
All right. This one, I'm going to go out of chronological order. No, should I do chronological or should I do the one that you love? Save it for last.
You are the final arbiter of these things.
Okay. I'm skipping out of turn. So that was 1973. I'm going to 1960.
Okay.
On this date, in 1960, one of the most iconic movies of all time was released to screens. It is a one-word title. It is one of the most parodied scenes in cinematic history.
60.
It was, and let me know if you need more dummy hints.
I mean, more dummy hints. I'm thinking like Giant with James Dean, but there isn't a lot of funny stuff in there. Parody. I don't know. What?
No. Well, the scene in the movie wasn't funny, but the parodies have been hilarious, or supposed to be hilarious over time.
60. Yeah, I need more. Genre.
Okay.
Give me something. Yeah.
Okay. It is this. I guess suspense thriller. It is.
Oh, is it Psycho?
Yes, it was Psycho.
I was gonna say. I just remembered 60 and parody. It all hit at once.
Yes.
The only big parody I could think of is Mel Brooks's High Anxiety. When
what about Angie Dickinson and Brian De Palma's thing?
That was a parody? That was
Yeah.
that was a tribute.
That was yes, it was hilarious.
Nothing. In fact, quite the opposite of if you're laughing, you're laughing for all the wrong reasons.
But you see a lot of those where they do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
in High Anxiety, which is a complete Mel Brooks ode to Hitchcock.
Yes.
He's at a,
And he had. Did you know that he reviewed scenes of that with Hitchcock on a regular basis before?
Oh yeah, no,
he went
Hitchcock
out?
loved it. Yeah, he loved it. But it was great because he asked the bellboy, "Oh, I need a newspaper," and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, no problem. I'll meet you and I'll bring you one at the hotel room." And the bellboy, and then later on, he says, "Oh, you forgot my newspaper." The bellboy's like, "I know. I'll get you the paper. I'll get you the paper." And finally, he calls down
That was the rule for you. That is Bulldog.
He calls down. I think it's actually Jack Riley from the Bob Newhart show. Who's the desk clerk. Says, "Oh, Dennis, by the way, Mr. Thorndike in 403 says, I know. Yes, and so next, of course, Mel Brooks is taking a shower, and you see this guy creeping into the hotel room. He whips the curtain open, has a newspaper, and says, "Here's your paper." Here's your paper. And then, of course, the newspaper ink is going down the drain. And Mel's sitting there with his head down. He fell down. He's like his head's by the toilet, and he has one of the greatest lines in movie history. He says, "That kid gets no tip."
Mel Brooks, the underappreciated.
Yeah, especially that movie. That movie, not a lot of people have seen. Everyone's seen Blazing Saddles and all of this other stuff, Spaceballs, blah blah blah. But High Anxiety, you don't even have to be a Hitchcock fan to appreciate High Anxiety. There's some big laughs in that movie.
Funny stuff. All right, number one, number one geeky thing for you.
Yes.
In 1966.
Okay. I know one big benchmark already in '66, but go ahead.
What, you were born then?
No, I had 4 more years. My adoptive dad, my not adoptive dad, was still chasing my mother around.
Okay.
Hadn't quite closed the deal yet, Jack.
Oh, you are an old romantic at heart, aren't you?
Indeed.
What's your thing in '66?
Oh, Star Trek.
Well, that's it. Today is the day.
Today's the day. I should watch. Well, you've inspired me. Maybe I should go watch Star Trek episodes tonight. I have them all on Blu-ray. You know.
I know you do. What was the first? What was the first episode?
Well, so the first film to the first broadcast. No, that's important.
No,
right, fine. I'll give you the first broadcast where no man has gone before.
What?
I will give you the first broadcast, which was Where No Man Has Gone Before. The first film to something called The Cage.
You are an unabashed champion. Geeks of the world unite. There is your hero. Follow him. Faja.
As Mark Zuckerberg said in the Social Network, did I answer your condescending question adequately enough?
Salami. Bologna.
Yeah, thank you. Don't bow, just send money.
Just send salami.
Absolutely.
But that you can't have that, so you'd have to pass that along to me.
I love salami, man.
Beef salami. There is beef salami. Yep. Your sound just went out to me, dude.
Are we back, everybody?
There. Now you are.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Shit. What's going on tonight?
What
Hang
did
on.
you do? What did
Hold
you
that thought. What
did
in the
you
world?
do?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I got the right settings. I can Bulldog. That is so beautiful. It's perfect that he knew, of course. Star Trek. Yeah. Which one? The one that's filmed, or the original one? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh boy.
We can hear you. Yes.
You can hear me. Okay.
Perfectly.
Cool. I can't hear you, but that's okay. What a gift. Hang on. Why? Hang on here. Let's see what I can do.
What
Audio
did you do?
default. No, that's not it. Okay, hold tight, everybody. We're doing well. Internal speakers. Okay, we're getting there. So I think we're back, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
kidding.
good. All right.
What did you do?
I got so excited by the Star Trek thing. I lost all control of. I just started seizing up. I seized.
You seized, all right.
I seized the moment.
From seized to shining seized.
Yes. But anyway, it's so nice to be back. Hang on, let me
Yes.
move the camera again to a better camera. There we go. Okay, much better. Hey,
You
everybody.
have too many toys. You have more cameras than they had on the original version TV series Star Trek.
Yes. Yes. Give me an external view, Spock. Spock says, I'll give you an internal view, Captain.
Yes.
Anyway, so we got all these videos to show tonight, man.
Yep. Get
This
to
is like,
it. But we had to do your gate thing. You didn't get anything right except for Star Trek. Well, Psycho, I'll give you half credit.
I jumped on the Psycho bomb.
I gave it to you. I just served it up
right.
on a silver platter, for God's sake.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so what order are you doing? Are you coming back in between them, or are you just going to go back to back to back?
We're just going to go boom, da boom, da boom.
Okay,
yep.
we got some good ones. So what do we got?
Yeah. So we're going to start out with what? With Dr. Ben, because it really officially is his night.
Yes.
And so we'll hit Dr. Ben there, and then we're going to move on to Trevor of the Chinooks, Trevor Cho.
Yeah, Trevor Cho, the manager of the Chinooks, part of the AJ's Warhawk Mafia from Whitewater. He was a little intense, but he loosened up.
Yeah, yes, he was. I was expecting nothing less.
It took a little bit, but
yep. Once you realized what kind of show this is, I thought this was important. Anyway, so that's good. And then we'll wrap up with a message from our friends over at the Advent Lutheran.
Oh, okay.
Lutherans. Yeah, I love Lutherans.
Fucking Lutherans! I'm telling you, you gotta be shitting me. I am telling you what they are.
Haven't you been talking about fish fries? You want to have a fish fry? You go to a Lutheran basement. Yeah, absolutely.
Lutherans don't know how to do fish. Are you kidding me?
Lutherans are all Norwegians. They do lutefisk.
It is ludicrous.
Anyway, they're doing
a rapper.
Wonderful thing for Wine and Harvest Fest this year. They're raising money for their for a school in Haiti, which has been racked with earthquakes and horrible things. So
that's the thing. We get socked with hurricanes here, and it's terrible, just terrible in the U.S. But at least you have some infrastructure and some resources to.
They're starting from zero over there.
There's no help is coming.
Well, no, it has. And these guys actually, the guy, a fellow named Dale Waldo, very nice guy, and he's been on the Haiti beach.
He owes me money, Waldo. He owes me money.
Well,
that son of a bitch. What are we doing?
His, contact information like poor Louise. Okay, give me a few weeks. Every time I say Jack wants your contact, they're like, I'm thinking. Takes a little while. Why does he want it? They have a million questions, Jack. A million questions.
I just gave it to him last month.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so that's the order.
Okay, forget the Lutherans and the fish fry. They're doing a good thing, kind of. If you really want to do a good thing during Wine and Harvest, go to Whistler's. They're having bands. They're having music.
What are they raising? What are they raising money for?
Themselves.
Okay, very good. I was just curious.
This is America.
Oh boy! You're one of those. Tucker Carlson's not on until 8, Jack. Just the gun.
Now that is funny that you would ever say that. That is hilarious.
Absolutely. Anyway, here we go. We're doing Dr. Ben.
Mula.
Chinooks, and then Pastor Alex.
Lutherans.
So yes, we're doing that, and that's how it's going, and we're gone till Tuesday. So enjoy these videos. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you again. And adios.
Dream of short texts from Patty.
Good day, everybody. Here we are. It's sort of a time warp because you probably just talked to Jeff and Jack at night, and now here we are at midday talking to Dr. Ben.
Dr. Ben is
Hello,
avoiding
guys. Hello.
You're avoiding the dark side of joining us live tonight.
I heard you found me a little fearful.
No, I not fearful. Just it was just kind of like a shock to my system almost. It was just very different than I.
If it makes
a
you
very
feel any
different
better,
experience.
if it makes you feel any better, I don't know that person either.
I kind of felt like I had got transported into like a disco, some
A
strange
disco.
dark discotheque of some sort. Yeah, it was definitely an experience though.
Cool. All right. What you got for us this week, Dr. Ben? What should we be doing, looking
Well,
for, thinking about?
I need to talk to you guys about. I think lots of times I give you guys tips about nutrition, or maybe a tip about exercise, or maybe something to watch out for, and people then decide whether or not they want to try to implement something. They might want to try a better diet and might want to add exercise in, but 9 times out of 10, most people fail to implement. They might do it for a couple days, they might do it for a week, and then they go on vacation and then they stop. And I've really been thinking a lot more about how can I help people to get regular with these different types of behaviors that are going to be helpful and impactful on their life in a beneficial manner. And I think when we look at somebody who is maybe doing all the right things in their life, maybe they exercise every day and they do great things for their family on a regular basis and all this kind of stuff, and you just think, gosh, that person must just have a lot more willpower than I do, right? Do you ever think that? God, they must have they're so disciplined. They have so much willpower. And
I traditionally just feel bad. I traditionally just feel bad for them.
And I always say that wimp got shit for willpower. I got willpower. No, but I know what you mean. Like your point is how are they able to do it? Right? They must have willpower.
Exactly.
They must have some innate thing that they from birth, right?
Yes, and I've kind of become interested on that, like what separates those individuals that are able to incorporate new behaviors and then do them regularly, and those that have such a hard time with it, because that seems to be the crux of where I run into trouble with my clientele and the members that I work with, is that they just have a really hard time implementing, things where they do it for a little bit and then they stop. And I started looking at that concept of like, how do you build your willpower, or what is willpower? And the more I looked into it, the more I realized that willpower, it's not that that anybody who's killing it as far as their fitness and health and nutrition goes, it's not that they have more willpower than you or I do. We all typically have about the same amount. It's a reserve. So it's like a willpower gas tank that you have that you can utilize in a day. So every time you do something that requires willpower, like, and I'll give you some examples of what require willpower, like doing something you don't want to do, or trying to keep your cool in a situation you normally get angry in, or trying to institute a new behavior that you've never done before. So all these things take a little bit of gas out of your willpower tank. And once your willpower tank goes down to 0, you're out. Your body, you just simply can't do it anymore. I think we've all had those times when you're like, I'm going into the pantry and I'm eating every piece of crap food in there right now. You're out of willpower. I don't care what's going on now.
Ben, were you watching? Did you have a camera in my house last night? What the hell? How did you know that?
In fact, yes, I was using Jeff as an example. So that's always such an interesting concept, and you should not feel bad about yourself if that kind of stuff happens, because it happens to everybody. But those people that are killing it and doing everything right and really producing some pretty extraordinary results in their life typically don't have any more willpower than you or I. Yeah. They just have better habits than you or I have. Yeah. And they have worked to establish beneficial habits. And once you establish a habit, it almost takes up none of your willpower gas tank to keep a habit going. So an example of a positive habit might be exercising every morning when I wake up. That is a positive habit. Or a positive habit might be, that you are including a vegetable with every meal. Mm-hmm. And so what I have started to counsel my clients.
Oh, we just lost you for a second there, Ben.
You're back. You're good.
You're back.
Uh-oh. Actually, I can pause the recording. Okay.
What I usually tell my clients is that, what you need to do is focus and take your existing pool of willpower, pick one habit just one, and focus on it for 30 days. And when you decide what habit you're going to pick the one that you think is going to have the biggest effect in a positive way on your life. So like Bulldog, you had picked recently kind of like trying to establish the habit of eating healthier. You know, whatever that means. Like you're trying to focus your resources. And where I see a lot of people fail is that they pick too many habits at once. They'll try to change. They're going to try to drink water before every meal, and then they're going to try to change their diet. And by the way, they're also exercising at the same time while they're trying to do this or that. And it's just too much. No one has, or very few people have the willpower reserves to do all that. So just pick one, focus on that one linchpin habit you think is going to really help you. Focus on it, all your willpower reserve on it for a full 30 days until it becomes a habit, which for most people, it takes anywhere from 15 to 60 days to form a habit.
Yeah.
Once what's the habit, it's just going to go on autopilot then, right? Yeah. And then you can pick another one. You know, so over the course of a year, you might be able to get 6 to 8 really positive behaviors into your life that you never did before. And I've been using this strategy for about the last 12 months, and it has been really impactful in my life personally for some of the things that I've been trying to implement that I think are going to be helpful for me. For example, meditation is something I've always had trouble with. So I'm on a 30-day streak of meditating, whatever that means, for 10 minutes a day, you know, which is torture to me, but I'm trying to instill this habit that it happens every single morning. And I think I'm going to be successful with it. So that is the gist of my message is don't worry about your willpower. Try to create some habits and start with just one habit. And then when that one's done, pick another one.
So what I'm getting from it is willpower plus habit equals routine, right? Correct?
Yes. If you use your willpower to develop a habit, it then becomes a routine or autopilot. And that's what you want. Yeah, those people who are doing these incredible things, they just have really incredible habits that they just initiate that happen every single day. Yeah. You know, so it's an interesting concept, and I think it's life-changing.
It reminds me, Ben, of another area of my life. I've been reading about business and life, and one of the things that I've found in numerous sources, in addition to lack, willpower wears down, you get decision fatigue too during a day.
Yep.
When you wake up, you're all full. You've got all this, you can do decisions. So it's really important to do as many decisions as you can that will affect that day the night before, like what clothes you're going to wear, what's your schedule going to be like, in what order, so that you don't have to decide that and so you can save your decision energy for things you can't avoid, you can't plan for. So you need to decide then and there. But it sounds a lot like that. It makes all kinds of sense because you wear down, you wear out, and then when you start making bad decisions, that's where you run into problems.
Yeah, that I believe that is 100% another really good concept of that. You want to take those different things that require a lot of your mental energy or decision-making power and put them at the start of your day. So that's at that 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock hour versus, waiting to the end of the day, letting all the small things distract you. And then at 4 o'clock PM, you're trying to make an important decision. And like you said, Jack, you might make a really bad one.
Right.
One other point I want to make about the habits is many times we have instilled some bad habits in our life. Okay. Like that's very common. Like maybe you have a habit that you have a pastry or some type of gross wheat sugar related product with your coffee every morning. Maybe that's a habit that you have. So many times
horrifying.
So many times maybe you aren't just trying to create a new habit, you're trying to break a habit. So you can think of it either way. You might spend 30 days trying to break a habit. And if you are trying to break a habit, like let's say you were eating some kind of gross, disgusting pastry type item with your coffee every morning.
A little put off by the gross. I don't know if we need to call it gross. Let's just take it easy now. Let's just
huge, nasty Starbucks
pastry like. Yes. Okay. And so you break it. What can you do, Ben?
You want to stop into the habit loop.
All right. What though?
So a good example of that would be like, let's say drinking wine at night after dinner is a habit of yours, and you want to break that habit. What you would then do is you would take the wine glass, you would put something different in it at that exact moment when you typically would have had your wine. Like you might put kombucha in there, or you might put, I don't know, sparkling water, I don't know, whatever you might put in there. and you drink that, and it basically inserts something else into the habit loop that you've created, and it can be a really good way to make it easier to break a bad habit.
I like that habit loop. I like that term.
The habit loop, or like
Yeah.
you could take eat broccoli instead of that morning muffin.
Broccoli and
That's not
coffee?
going to happen.
Hang on about
Yeah,
that.
right.
You asked too
kidding.
much of me.
Just kidding. I know, just kidding.
It could
I'm
happen.
just teasing.
Well, Ben, I have a question for you. The habits thing is great, but I want to talk about something. Do you have just a few more minutes or no?
Sure.
To talk.
Mhm. Yes.
Bulldog, you all right with this? You good? Okay. The thing is, with the changing of the season, it comes a changing of the food mindset. We're going from lighter, fresher foods of the summer, colder temperatures mean
Casserole.
yes, casseroles and warm bread. I mean, all kinds of comfort foods, meatloaf, all kinds of things. What do you have any advice for someone to try and head off this? Because it's almost like we're conditioned to think of food differently once the temperature starts dropping. So it's an additional challenge.
Uniquely Midwestern problem in some ways, perhaps.
Yeah. What do
Yeah.
you think about that, Ben? Is that something that we can head off or anything, or what do you recommend?
Well, I think you just got to pick different foods that are like those comfort foods. Like I think chili, like a bean chili, is definitely a cold weather food, and you can make an extremely healthy bean chili. Or you can even put a little bit of some type of quality meat source in there, although it's really hard nowadays to get any quality meat. So you just have to pick. You just have to make better choices on those items.
Okay. Yeah.
And again, that stems back to, you have to make decisions in your life. Even that thing about, you just brought up a moment ago about like the consumers getting fooled by these labels or truth in labeling.
Yeah.
And part of that is we as consumers have to educate ourselves a little bit about that stuff, because it isn't really that complicated. If you look at the ingredient list and you see that lime isn't even on there in the lime chip or whatever, you know that the manufacturer's lying, and again, that goes back to anything in a plastic bag or anything in a cardboard box is usually not very good for you in the grocery store, because all of those products are usually designed to create a situation where you become addicted to them. They play on your fat, salt, sugar sensors and try to get you all jazzed up, so, but I feel like us as consumers, we need to educate ourselves. So maybe we should send that article out to everybody, that one that you're sending me, Jack. Maybe I'll send that out to my whole list.
That's a good.
All right. Yeah. Well, the other thing is, I think we're complicit in it to a degree. We want to be fooled. We're like, oh, this isn't so bad for me. It's this strawberry Pop-Tart has there's fruit in there. That's good, right?
Right. Totally. Yes, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Or like I always love like the heart healthy symbol on a box of Cheerios. It's like, okay, I'm sorry, that little bit of processed grain is not healthy for your heart. Like it's just a sad state of affairs, and you just wish that all the big money would get itself out of the food industry, but that is not going to happen in my lifetime. I'll assure you of that. So the only way it's going to change if consumers educate themselves and stop buying into and buying those products that are absolutely awful for our children and awful for us.
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
We got to vote with our pocketbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very effective.
The tide's turning a little. I mean, I think it is turning a little, but it's not happening fast.
Right. It's going to take a lot. AJ, do you have any questions for Ben?
So back to what I said about habit building a routine. What do you recommend for someone like myself? I'm Puritan. What do you recommend? Because we eat pretty well in the house, so I'm just thinking, do you recommend like smaller portions for people, or how do you? What would you recommend in that
It's
case?
usually like really, really individual, AJ. So that's where a little bit of soul searching comes in, where you got to decide, what do you feel would be the best thing for you and your family? Because habits can be anything. It can be a particular way of socializing with your family. It might be that you fly off the handle with your children, and that's a habit you'd like to break. There's so many different things, but you got to think about. And I've kind of worked strategically on the ones that have been the most destructive in my life, eliminating those habits. and then instilling in other habits that are a lot more. But I think you got to do some soul searching with that to pick out which one you think is going to be the best one to start with.
Process of elimination.
Yeah, and be nice to yourself. As I'm on this food journey, I mean, I've screwed up plenty, but I decided to do it differently. Instead, when I completely screw up, don't dwell on it. Just say, "Oh well, tomorrow I'll get it right." I'm sure.
Well,
Not always, but no, it's just that makes a big difference because when you think you screw up, you're like, "Well, I guess I'm back to square one," and you're not.
Nope. Yeah, you don't want to have that 100% attitude where you got to do it 100% of the time, or it isn't going to work. You just need to do it 90% of the time. It's okay to screw up, 10% of the time. Actually, you maybe want to build that in. So.
And growing to that 90, even that 90% takes, I mean, you mentioned Dr. Ben, like, 30 to 60 days. It's going to be longer for me because these habits are so ground in from a lifetime. So I'm giving myself half a year. I mean, but I'm still making a difference. So you just have to put your own pace on there because it won't happen for me in the time frame you're talking. I know it won't. I mean, I know me.
You're doing one of the hardest. You're doing one of the hardest ones, which is changing what you eat. That sounds easy to do, but it's not, because of like what you said. So you might even want to break that into segments of like, I'm just going to change my breakfast. I'm going to work on that for 30 days, and I'm not going to do lunch or dinner. You might want to break it out because the bigger the change of behavior is, the harder it is to instill as a habit. So it's definitely going to take more time with something like that. If you're going after the whole diet in one fell swoop,
I'm living it.
I give you a lot of. I give you a lot of props for doing what you're doing. I think that's awesome.
Well, because it feels good though. That's the thing too. Is I'm also one thing that you'll be surprised by is, and I wasn't expecting this, but you'll actually feel the benefits, and I've noticed them. It's been noticeable benefits, like better sleep. That didn't even seem to be attainable to me in this particular lifetime. And
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, and it's happening, and it happens when I eat better on days when I nail it. And especially that whole not eating after 6 p.m. thing and no carbs after like 1 p.m. Even if I can do that, I'm sleeping like a baby.
That's awesome. Yeah,
nice.
That's a great example of like maybe you would start with the habit of just 6 p.m. is my cutoff. I do not eat. I'm going to put all my willpower. I'm going to focus just on that for 30 days.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm talking about. Break it out. Get it into one manageable behavior change, and then once you do that, then it's easy. It's not I'm thinking about it anymore. Then go on to the next one.
Absolutely.
Yep. And Ben, you hit on something before that really makes it challenging for me is the soul searching thing. I sold mine a long time ago. I'm
actually
out on
that. A soul search for Jack is actually to find one.
Yes,
that's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was talking about.
How perfect!
Yeah, see, I made a deal with somebody.
You're the devil.
The devil said, "That's enough. We're not going no more preaching from Father Ben."
I don't do radio with soulless people.
Reverend Ben.
Oh, wow! Get the holy water.
Satan has spoken.
That was okay.
Well, I guess that's our segment for today.
What a nice smooth way to end. Dr. Ben saying, "Oh, he's there."
That was so perfect.
We were saying this that the devil did it to you, Ben.
I like it.
Ben went off to call an exorcist. To find Jack's Foreman Fitness. New service that Foreman Fitness is providing. We have
exercise and exorcism.
Exercise and exorcisms.
I like it.
Anyway, well, we're in a good place to wrap the segment up. I think we were a few minutes ago, but anyway, thank you again, Dr. Ben. We hope to see you next week for more very valuable tips to make all this life stuff easier.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ben. See ya. Have a great weekend. See ya.
Bye.
Go, and here we are back on back in the past. Even though it's the present for us. This time stuff kills me every time. Jack, Who do we have on?
Well, I think we should leave the honors to AJ. It's a guest
Do it
of
that way,
AJ's.
too. Yep.
AJ's connected, has really couldn't wait to get this next guest on. So we were able to hook up with him. I'm glad because AJ's really excited about it. So,
This next guest is Trevor Cho. He was the manager of the Chinooks this year for me in year 2. And I'm really excited to have him on. So welcome to the show, Trev.
Yeah, thanks. It was struggle getting on. I go from one season to the next, so it's tough, but I'm glad it was able to work out. So glad to be
we got you.
well, one of the reasons you're already on a short leash, Trevor, because AJ revealed that you're a Homestead guy.
Yeah, I am. Graduated in 15. We always did well against Cedarburg unless Jonathan Cedar was pitching back.
Yeah, he was a good player, wasn't he?
Very good.
Yeah, very cool. So AJ's got some questions for him. We'll inject them to you. But thanks for being on. Thanks for coming
Appreciate
on.
it.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So Trev, talk about like, I know the season probably didn't go as well as you wanted, but talk about how much fun you had with the Chinooks this year, and how you really got involved in that kind of role with them too.
Yeah, well, I guess I can kind of start with how I got started and everything. So this would have been the summer of 21. I was coaching travel baseball, and my parents' house where I was living that summer, it's like a minute walk from Capco Park, and that summer I was just kind of getting started and coaching. I was an assistant at Madison College. I'm actually there again right now. So I just had finished up the spring being at Madison College. And then that summer I was coaching a travel team out of Waukesha called Sticks Academy. So, that's kind of like a weekend commitment. I was like a young coach, just trying to shake hands with whoever I could. And so I just reached out on a Twitter DM to the manager at the time, Travis Akery. And I said, hey, I'm Trevor Cho. I'm an assistant at Madison College, and I'm coaching travel this summer. If there's like any games like during the week when I have nothing going on, could I come in and just throw BP? So, and Travis was great about it. So he basically let me come throw BP, just see what the Northwoods and the Chinooks was all about. I had gone to, probably hundreds of Chinooks games, but I'd never been like in the dugout, see the pregame routine. So just from that side of it, I definitely got my money's worth that summer. So I kind of did that summer. Fast forward, that next spring, I was a graduate assistant at Missouri State. So I wasn't able to coach travel anymore. I definitely knew that I wanted to do summer ball. And the Chinooks were definitely my first choice. So I had already built that connection with the manager. So I just sent him another text saying, hey, I'm Division I assistant now. I'm not going to be able to recruit this summer. So could I, come in and coach? And he was like, yeah, you can be the hitting coach. You'll be great. So then after the 22 summer, they front office and the ownership brought me in. They said, we're thinking about making you the manager, and definitely wanted to do that. So, it was a great experience this year. The record wasn't the best, but just a ton of like unlucky injuries. I felt like we were always playing catch up, and that's part of the deal. The Chinooks weren't the only injured team throughout the summer, but no, it was a great first experience. Heading into year 2, definitely, seeing like what could have gone better, what I'm going to do the same. So no, it was a great experience and great group of players. So.
Yeah, that just speaks to the growth of the organization. I can speak to it too. I'm in year 2. I was in year 2 with Trav too. So it's been a great experience just to see his rise and see where he's been and where he's going. And he said he was at Madison College now, so it's just great to be back in. I'm sure it's great for you to be back in the area recruiting the kids that you know too.
Yeah, exactly. I think it works out really well where, I think our best player from this last summer, Avery Owusu-Asidu, who ended up getting drafted in the 9th round, that's a guy that I coached in high school. So I think like the one luxury that the Chinooks has is that there's a lot of good players in the area. And then like through my time working the travel ball circuit to now, being back at Madison College, I definitely think that that's something that the Chinooks could always do, is kind of keep the best local talent around. And then, for this next summer, there's already, a couple guys that have already contacted from the area that are, at the bigger schools that, want to come back for the summer and play in the Northwood. So I think that's definitely a positive, and something that the Chinooks should always be doing is, there's a lot of good players in this area. Like the one that kind of sticks to mind that kind of followed that trajectory was Owen Miller. Ozaki High School, went to school in the Midwest, and then his summers came back, played for the local team. So,
Trevor, for people who don't know what the Northwoods League, how do you get players? I mean, do you draft them? Are they all free agents? How does that work?
Yeah, so I think like the main way to do it is, and it changes from organization to organization. Thankfully the Chinooks have given me a lot of freedom in that. So just kind of through all the different connections that I've made in my coaching career, just kind of reaching out to those schools. So I would say like kind of like the main way that you get players is getting in contact with college coaches, saying, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Who do you got? And then what colleges like to do, they like sending at least like 2 or 3 guys. So maybe we'll give you 2 pitchers, 1 hitter, or something like that. So that's kind of like the main way.
So you're essentially your own scout. You don't have like a couple guys out there. This is on you.
Yeah. I think there was like 70. I think it was a total of 70 players that came through Lakeshore last year. I would say there was probably only 5, 6, 7 that I didn't get. So, I mean, and that's nice where, I definitely get busy in April and May, like on the phone. When I was at Missouri State, I had to walk out of meetings and stuff, and they would always make jokes saying, like, asking if I was on a unlimited phone plan.
Well, Trevor, I think what you told us in this very short amount of time is applicable to many people in different careers. I mean, you went after it. I mean, you volunteered, you applied yourself to the certainly not high paying, glamorous position when you said you volunteered to come in and do whatever. Can I throw batting practice? I mean, that's great stuff.
Yeah. I'll put it like this, and I say this very like humbly, and I say this almost as like advice to any young coach. Like, I get asked all the time, and I mean, I'm very fortunate. I'm 26 years old, and I would like to think I've ascended pretty quickly in the coaching game, and it's not because I know the most, and it's not because I'm the best coach. It's not that at all. It's because I've been, able to do just stuff that other people weren't wanting to do. I mean, at Missouri State, like, amazing experience working for Keith Gutton was one of the best experiences I'll ever have. And, what I had to do there was I had to be the first one in. I put the laundry out. As soon as I got done doing all the laundry, I had to go set up the field. As soon as I got done setting up the field, I had to go stock the clubhouse with food and drinks. Like, that's not stuff that I wanted to do, but I also wanted to be around Division I players. I wanted to be around Drake Baldwin, who got drafted in the 3rd round. I wanted to be around Spencer Nivens, who just got drafted in the 5th round. Like, that's the stuff that I wanted to do. And the ticket for me to get in there was doing the laundry, setting up the field, vacuuming, taking out the trash, all that stuff. And I mean, it's definitely paid off. So, I mean, like you said, with volunteering, throwing BP, I think that just comes from, like the way that I was raised and always having a, like blue collar mentality towards things. So,
if you ever need a place to stay, I need a roommate that does all that stuff. That'd be great to vacuum in the cleaning. It'd be awesome. AJ, I know you got a bunch for we don't want to be taking all Trevor's time here. What else you got?
No, Trev, just talk about, you got the homestead connection. Just talk about how you kind of went, your journey a little bit. I mean, you talked about obviously Missouri State, but for the local folks, talk about what the experience of playing a state championship at Homestead was like. Talk about that aspect of things too.
No, I mean my homestead career was awesome, and I'll put it in terms like this. So I was like, maybe I was like mad about it at the time, but I was like, and looking back, it's a great thing. But I really think like I was kind of like the last generation to kind of go through high school baseball the way that I did, where now it's in the springtime, but back when I played, it was still in the summer. And I mean, there was nothing better. And it actually meant something to me when you got to go play, a Cedarburg team again. Jonathan Stever's going to throw that night. Playing West Bend West, Whitefish Bay. It actually like meant something. With your teammates, with the guys that you grew up with, going into that town, trying to beat them that night. So I mean that experience was great. Ernie Millard was. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than a high school baseball coach. Still say super close to him. He was able to come to a couple of Chinooks games. So he stopped down in the dugout. Me and him got in a fight because I told him that we don't bunt that much, and he was trying to sway me to get some bunts down a little bit. But I mean, he was great. It was awesome playing at Capco Park for the state championship. Got second place that year, and I mean, it was awesome seeing the hometown support going for a state title. But no, I mean, I couldn't have asked for much more from a high school baseball career. It was definitely a great experience on my end.
What did you do right after high school?
Yeah, so I went to St. Cloud State for 2 years. After that, went to UW Whitewater for 2 years. In my fifth year at Whitewater, I was done playing baseball. I knew I wanted to get into coaching. So, kind of like me wanting to go throw BP for the Chinooks, I just reached out to Sean Smith, who is the owner of Sticks Academy in Waukesha. And I said, hey, Sean, and I, didn't play for him or anything like that, but I kind of just always had his contact. And I said, Sean, just got done playing baseball. I want to get into coaching. Don't really know what that looks like. Is there like anything that I can do? And he said, yeah, how about you just start working all the high school classes? So, and he had, really no reason for me to, come in and do that. But I mean, if he said no, or if it didn't work out there, I'm not sure I go to Madison College. Then I'm positive that I don't go to Missouri State for 2 years as a graduate assistant. And I'm certain that I'm not the, Lakeshore Chinooks general manager. So, I mean, whatever coaching experience I have, whatever jobs that I may get, I mean, I'll always tie it back to Sean Smith. So that's kind of the from the genesis there.
That's the lesson, kids. If you want something, ask for it.
Yep, that's right.
I mean, really, it's a lot of people won't do that, and you did, and it worked out.
And hustle.
With that too, let's just if you could, Trev, just for someone young, like younger than us, talk about it. Maybe in college, talk about the importance of. You talked about it a little bit, but talk about how important you said you didn't make connection with Sean before, but talk about the importance of just networking and trying to get your name out there, just for those who may be searching for what they want to do in life.
Yeah, I think like just kind of like that piece is really important, and I think, I mean, just from like the coaching end, like there's always like they call it like the carousel, where like positions are always changing, people are always trying to move up. Like there's not many coaches out there that want to be a graduate assistant for 50 years. Like that's like one thing that I always put in my mind, where it's just like, I got about 2 years to do this thing, so I'm gonna try to exhaust my time doing this. So I think just like the connection piece, it's something that will, and one, it's like, I mean, like one of my favorite things in coaching is just, I like calling it the war room, but just like telling stories in the coach's locker room. Like to me, like that's what it's all about. So, and when you like develop those relationships and you can tell those stories, like to me, that's what it's all about. And then if you get a job, that's great too. Like at Missouri State, working for Keith Gutton. This is going to be his 42nd year, and he just has so much respect around the game of baseball. So it was awesome getting to work for him, and he's thrown my name in everywhere. So I really appreciate Coach Gutton, and it really is just about. And one thing that I learned from a former assistant at Madison College who was there when I was, he said. He would always say, be where your feet are, but more importantly, like choose where your feet are. So that's maybe kind of like the way that you look at it is like just be mindful of the people that you hang around. So.
Yeah, cool. Trevor, do you think is there a past coach that you sort of model your coaching style off of, or have you developed it on your own, or a combination of that?
No, it's definitely a combination. Like the last 2 years, I was, graduate assistant at Missouri State, and it's kind of funny where I knew literally everything about Missouri State just because, the head coach had been there for so long, but then it was unique where there was an assistant coach, Paul Evans, who had also been there forever. So whenever I was reading like ABCA magazines or hearing about college baseball, Missouri State would always get brought up, and there'd be like, oh, Keith Gutton, Paul Evans. There's never been anything like that. But so I'm talking about Keith Gutton, and so I always have to tell this story about Keith Gutton. And I think it kind of, when you say like model yourself after, like if I could be this one day, it'd be great. But so it was opening day in the spring of 22. We were in Conway, Arkansas, staying at a Comfort Inn, and I am about as nervous as can be. We're getting ready to play Central Arkansas. This is my first ever Division I game being around it, and I can't sleep. And I probably go down to the lobby at 4 a.m. I got all my scouting reports right in front of me. I got the schedule out in front of me. I'm just reading through absolutely everything. I'm making sure I have everything down to a T, just because I don't want to be that guy, And so it's probably around like 6:15, 6:30. Coach Gutton comes down and he says, best day of the year. And then he like gets himself a coffee, and then he just sits down at the table right at me. And he goes, so, Trevor, what have you liked this year? What haven't you liked this year? What are you going to take with you? And what aren't you going to take with you? And I was just blown away, where I'm like, this guy is getting ready for his 40th year. He's done absolutely everything that you can in mid-major baseball. He's gone to the College World Series. He's had, as of now, it's 23 big leaguers. He's hosted a regional. He's been a national seed. Like he has done everything that he can in college baseball. And he just asked a 24-year-old GA who's never been a part of a Division I baseball game what I would change with the program. And like how just like empowering my time with him was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm back at Madison College right now. I think Mike Davenport's like absolutely like the smartest baseball mind I've ever been around. Like there can be any little play that happens, and he's got a breakdown of what is going on. So one thing that's always stuck with me, and I'm glad that I'm back there just for this reason alone, is kind of just like the process of teaching, the process of learning. And then the hitting coach in Missouri State this last year, or the last 2 years, the guy that kind of brought me on was Joey Hawkins. He was just like data analytics. So I definitely saw like a new side of the game where it wasn't so much like old school. It was maybe like that new age.
Yeah.
And then another one, Darren Everson, his son Jared was actually able to play on the Chinooks this last year. He's a AA hitting coach in the New York Mets organization right now. And kind of the same thing where I've worked camps with him, and he's kind of got like that new age, all that new philosophy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many countless others, but I've definitely been blessed being around some amazing coaches, and I've definitely trying to take the good from all those relationships, bosses, coaches, and kind of apply it to myself.
Absolutely. And hopefully it's still fun.
Yeah, I mean, like one of my favorite things from the Northwoods this last summer was always playing against the Madison Mallards, because I don't know if you know anything about their manager, but Donnie Scott, he's been doing it forever, and he was just always sharing knowledge with me. And he would always kind of like check in on me. He's like, how are you doing in your first year being a young guy? And I'm like, oh, Donnie, like I'm spinning a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, do you like showing up to the cages every day? You like the pregame work and all that? I'm like, yeah. And he's just like, well, that's what will keep you around forever. He goes, all the extra stuff, like, that is what it is. But he goes, as long as you love the game, you can stick around for a long time.
Nice. Cool. AJ, you got anything else?
Well, thank you, Trev. It was very informative, and
Definitely.
thank you, man, for taking the time. I know you got a busy schedule. I know it's the winter, but you guys still have a busy schedule with starting with new recruits and everything like that. So
you're either in season or you're either getting ready for the next season. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know how that is.
Well, you're an official member of AJ's Warhawk Mafia.
That's right. Yep, go Whitewater.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We've been told not to cross any of you.
That's right.
That's right.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Trevor. It's definitely great to meet you.
Thank you.
You too.
Best luck.
All right.
Keep going, man. Keep hustling. That's great.
Sure, the beginning and end and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay. So just do your thing. If you want to stop at any point, just let me know. I'll probably actually keep rolling and just snip whatever. But do you need a breather at some point or want to double back? We can do all that stuff. So perfect. Cool.
And again, thank you very much. It's like, they're looking at each other and they're not looking.
Hey, you. No. At Advent in Cedarburg. Have you here this? All right.
So do your thing.
All right. Well, Dale, it's good to have you here this morning. I'm Pastor Alexis, and I am pastor at Advent in Cedarburg. As you know, you're a member there too. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank the library for doing this. This is absolutely wonderful. A way to get out the message for important community events that are going on, and I really appreciate it.
Definitely.
But anyway, I'm Dale Waldo. I've been a director of an orphanage school down in Haiti since 2007, one of the directors here in Wisconsin. And I've also been a member of Advent for, probably 30 years or so. And but yeah, that's who I am.
And we want to talk a little bit about Mabo, the Children's Home of Haiti. This is an orphanage that got started after the 2010 earthquake, I believe. Would you tell a little bit about the school and the orphanage and how we got connected at Advent?
Yeah, and actually, even going back further to 2007, what happened, I was in pharmaceutical sales, and one of my nurse practitioners goes, geez, Dale, we talk a lot about stuff, do you think your church might be interested in hearing about an orphanage? I said, geez, we do a lot of stuff like that at Advent. I said, so here's the number of our pastor. Give Pastor Yanis Kinnis a call and see what happens. So anyway, she got in and did a talk, and people felt so moved. They, believe it or not, gave $800 to the orphanage that day, which was absolutely wonderful. Well, anyway, I kind of got to be de facto fundraiser for MABO, which stands for Movement and Advancement of Orphanage Benefits and Orphans. Okay. Anyway, that's what MABO stands for, and it's in French. Okay. So I can't say it in French. I can't pronounce it in French. But anyway, so that's how we got started. And I've been down a number of times. I've been down, I think somewhere 14 or 15 times. And
since 2007.
Yeah, since 2007. Wow. And, the first time we went down, I just absolutely, when I was leaving, I had tears in my eyes because you just fall in love with these kids. They are so absolutely wonderful and gracious and well-mannered and grateful that they have the people that love them.
Yeah.
And some of these kids, what's kind of tragic is that some of these kids have been just dropped off by their parents because their parents couldn't afford to feed them, to clothe them, to educate them. So they showed up and they just said, can you take care of our child? And so these kids were basically abandoned. Now, imagine if you're 5, 6, 7 years old and having your parents and your family just abandon you with some strangers. And these kids have just absolutely grown and prospered. We have some of the kids that now have aged out who are actually even working there as
Yeah.
counselors and teachers. Go ahead.
Well, let's talk about how it's grown. So when it started, it was just a few kids, but now it has grown to not just the children in the orphanage, but they have a school, and then they've started a vocational school for adults in the community, correct?
Absolutely.
So they've been growing with the support that they've been receiving from congregations like us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in Grisier, which is about 25 miles west of Port-au-Prince. And what's happened is that the community has embraced us.
Mm,
How so? Because they brought their children to us to educate them. And
right.
some of them can pay tuition, but most of them don't.
Yeah.
And we support their teachers, and what little tuition we get goes to pay them and to support them. So we currently have 19 children who are in the orphanage per se, and we've had upwards to 100 children in the school.
Right.
The vocational school has had maybe 30 kids. In fact, when I was down there, they even recruited me to teach English. Okay. And my English teachers would be rolling in their graves right now because I was not the best English teacher. So I'm trying to remember all this stuff, like what are the rules for doing this? What are the rules for that and that? But one of the most interesting things that happened down there is this one kid who was about 19 at the learning English asked me, he said, "Why should we love people?"
Mm,
And I looked at him and I said, "Because it's the most important thing there is. It is the most important thing for life to care about others, And, I said, you look at some of the people who are incredibly rich, and we know countless examples of people who have millions, billions, whatever, and they are some of the most unhappy people in the world. But people who care about others and really, truly care as their brother or sister are people that go through life with a smile on their face. And Haiti, as you know, has been incredibly wrecked through natural disasters, through man-made disasters, through anarchy that's going on right now.
mm,
And the people are incredibly, incredibly resilient.
yeah.
And the reason for that is because they care about and love each other.
Yeah. And that's a big, important part of our ministry at Advent. In all the ministries that we do, all of our outreach connections, Advent really believes that it's important to build community that looks like Jesus. And Jesus loved all people that he encountered. And so that's a big part about why we got involved in Haiti and why we do what we do. We have a big event coming up to support Mabo, the Mabo school and orphanage. And would you like to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, for about the last 10 years, we have been utilizing our place on Washington Avenue during the festivals. And we've had various events that have supported, for example, the Ukrainians to buy personal body armor for civilians. Last year, we raised $19,000,
Yeah.
which was absolutely wonderful.
The community was so supportive.
And then what we've done for Harvest Fest, which is coming up the 16th and 17th of September, is we have a rummage sale, and we have snow cones, and we have baked goods, and we're trying to raise money for the orphanage. It takes around $3,500 a month to support what we do down there, which isn't a lot of money when you think about it, but we're not very big, okay? And all of the money that goes to support Mabo comes not from our church budget. It comes from the largeness of people who want to donate and want to give and know that their money is going to support a terrific cause.
You mentioned $3,500 for a month, and that covers the food, that covers the salaries for, $3,500 a month is the operating expense.
Exactly.
And as you said, that's not very much. But so it's our goal to raise a couple months worth of funds at our rummage sale. What kind of things can they buy at a rummage sale? And if they want to donate, what kinds of things can they donate?
Well, ladies, okay, we have So a wonderful array of purses every year. Okay. And my wife has cleared out her closets, okay, and many of our members have cleared out their closets. And what's been really great is that we've had a number of people in the community who want to donate, not just purses, but a number of things that can sell. We have tools. We have one of the things we don't have is, and which we don't want, are clothes. Okay, we save that for Salvation Army and St. Vincent de Paul, but things that are sellable, things that we can get, maybe that are worth $5 and up, that are clean, and allows us to raise money. Now we've raised, as you said, we'd like to raise at least 2 months worth of operating expenses down there. And I want to tell you too that all of the money that is raised and donated goes 100% directly to support this.
Yes.
There's no operating expenses.
There's no overhead.
No overhead. There's no, does this pay for, our trips down to Haiti? No, absolutely not. It goes 100%. And our organization is, in addition to being MABO, it's also known as Children's Home of Haiti, which is a 501c3 organization. Yes. So we also accept donations. And if you donate dollars, whatever funds, what we can do is we can write you a receipt that is tax deductible. Right. So those things have allowed us to continue. And, I believe God has a special place in his heart for our little place down in Haiti. There have been times when we've been down to very little funds and people have come in with donations who we don't even know, okay, right, aren't members of the church, like, we heard about you, or can you use this money to support some good things in our community and in the world? And this is what it does.
Yeah. So if people are doing some end of summer cleaning, trying to get ready for the fall, if they have electronics or collectibles, if they have some furniture pieces, if they have any of those items that they would like to donate, they can bring it to the church starting the day after Labor Day.
Correct.
Until when can they bring those to the church?
Until the day before the rummage sale,
until
before
the day before
Harvest Fest. Okay.
Excellent. And our church office is open every day from 9 to noon. And if someone would want to donate but can't make those hours, a call to our church office and a message, we could arrange to have someone to be there at a later time.
Absolutely.
And I know that you have offered some people who have trailers that if someone has a large item that they can't move, they can also contact us and we could pick it up. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Excellent.
So I would urge you to, ladies, get your husband to clean out the garage or the basement. Okay. Ladies, clean out the drawers, clean out whatever you've got that you think could reasonably sell. Right. And we would certainly welcome it. It's been just amazing, the support we get. And one thing I would like to do, and that is I'd like to thank Cedarburg and their visitors who come every year to these festivals, because we hear terrible things sometimes about how people are, selfish and what's happening in the country, etc. But we've seen this incredible generosity from the people of Cedarburg who have supported us, who care about what we do and believe in what we do. And it is just absolutely gratifying to me. And people come up to me and go, oh, I don't want a snow cone. I don't want I don't want a soda. I don't want this, but here's $10. We love what you're doing. And thank you so much for doing that. And that to me is just wonderful.
So we look forward to seeing Cedarburg residents, Ozaukee County residents, and residents from all over who will be in town for the Wine and Harvest Festival mid-September. And we invite you to stop by. We invite people to come and get a snow cone or baked goods, to buy some potted plants or any of the items that we have for sale, or just come to say hi and learn a little bit about our ministry that we're supporting down in Haiti. It's such a great way for us to connect. And I truly believe that the more that we can love one another, as you said, building those bonds, not just loving the neighbor who lives next door, but loving the neighbor you've never met. And I think this is a great way that we live out that commandment that Jesus gave us to love our neighbor. And I look forward to all that could come in store for Wine and Harvest. I'm hoping for good weather. It's been good weather the last couple of years. So yeah, I think it'll be really great. And thanks in advance to anyone who comes to support our orphanage and to come to support Advent's Ministries.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Just remember, we're all God's people.
Amen. Thanks, Dale.
Thank
Good
you,
to see you
Pastor.
today.